Hello guys, welcome back to our anime explainer. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of Swallowed Star original continent based on novel. So let's start. When I passed 20 of the fantasy islands consecutively, it was a miraculous thing. A universe level passing 20 islands was an unbelievable event. It made the founder and Void Gold Master take notice, and they quickly learnt that you and third brother are both from Earth. Hong looked at Luo Feng. Third brother, you've been regarded as a genius of 10,000 eras, and my passing of the 20 islands, that was even rarer. Two geniuses from the same life planet, same generation. This was unbelievable to them. Hong said. Luo Feng nodded. During the genius competitions back then, 1,000 of them were picked from 1,008 universe countries. On average, it was about one per country. The chances were already low enough. And with Luo Feng's absurd improvement speed, he became a rare genius of 10,000 eras. That was one genius from 1,008 universe countries, over 10,000 eras. And that genius was from Earth. How low were the chances? And Hong, such an unbelievable human, was even rarer, and he too was from Earth, and he was in the same generation as Luo Feng. Hence, the founder of the Huge Axe Dojo thought there may be something special about Earth, otherwise what are the chances? He immediately headed to Earth to check it out, and with that, he discovered Earth's secret. Hong said. Luo Feng and Thunder God held their breaths. The Absolute Being, founder of the Huge Axe Dojo, actually came to check out Earth. What secret? Thunder couldn't help but ask. What did he find? Luo Feng was anxious too. The true secret, it's terrifying. Hong emphasized. Thunder God quickly said, can we say this secret in the virtual universe? Whatever we say here may be discovered by the virtual universe system. Relax. Hong laughed. Back then when I met the founder of the Huge Axe Dojo, we had a chat about it. And also when I met and chatted with Void Gold Master, I asked him about the safety of this issue. He replied that it's absolutely safe, even if the upper echelon of the virtual universe company wanted to find out some information. Different levels of management had different levels of authority. Hence nothing will be revealed. Unless you are a traitor of humanity, or danger to the company, otherwise there's no need to worry. Luo Feng nodded. The virtual universe company was terrifying. Whether one was in an internal world, God country, actual universe, dark universe, or primal universe, one could enter the virtual universe at any time and communicate with others. This ability was heavenly. Don't bother about the system. What is Earth's secret, big brother? Stop keeping us in suspense. Luo Feng asked. Hong put down his teacup and emphasized. When the founder came to check out Earth, he discovered that Earth had long been remodeled. Remodeled? Thunder God was curious. What remodeling? Luo Feng asked. The founder told me that 1 trillion years ago, Earth was remodeled by an absolute being. Normal life planets usually only had resources for people to survive. Earth, however, is very special. As long as one was born here, especially affected by Earth's formless influence during pregnancy period, their souls will have special evolutions. Luo Feng and Thunder God stared wide-eyed. Evolution. One of the evolution effects of the humans of Earth is in the mental state side. It's easier for them to comprehend and raise their mental states. Hong emphasized. Hence, in the history of Earth, within just China alone, there are many sacred beings with extremely high levels of mental states. What? The two stared in disbelief. I didn't believe it too. Hong shook his head and exclaimed. However, the great founder found marks of the remodeling and deduced the identity of that being. Who was it? Luo Feng asked. The founder didn't say. However, when he chatted with Void Gold Master, I heard the gist of it. Hong shook his head. That great being had unbelievable power, and even Void Gold Master said he was weaker than him. Only the founder of the Huge Axe Dojo could stand on par with him. Luo Feng felt it was unbelievable. The founder of the Huge Axe Dojo, he was a true absolute being of humanity. And that great being could actually stand on par with him. The founder had exclaimed before, that great being was impressive. He had once created an entire race, creating body evolution in strength, resulting in an evolved powerful race. The only weakness was, in terms of mental states, they were weaker. I think they were called the Flame God race. Hong said. Flame God race. Thunder God was suspicious. Luo Feng, however, was completely stunned. The secret Hong had revealed was simply too heavenly. That great being which actually created the entire race was the Flame God race. He himself had acquired the black metal board on Earth, and within it were the words of the Flame God race. It was a manual used to evolve one's body. Now that he had heard it, he sort of guessed. According to the founder and Void Gold Masters exchange, Hong exclaimed, that great being had once taken a group of humans to evolve them, finally creating an entire new race called the Flame God race. Flame God race, it centered about body evolution, but its weakness was in mental states. Maybe because of that, the great being remodeled Earth. It was like a basket to him. He would catch a group of humans and place them on Earth, wanting to let the many generations of humans evolve and produce beings that were extremely adept at mental states. Hong said. In an ancient time long ago, Earth wasn't even a human territory. Hence the great being could naturally nurture his humans that way. However, later on, the territory Earth was in was taken over by humans. Hence that being had to leave. Luo Feng and Thunder God stared wide-eyed. Luo Feng, however, believed it. A great being of a race. Like the being that left behind the demon note inheritance. He too had to leave when humanity took over the region. Demon Mountain was separated into Ice Mountain and Demon Note Mountain, of which the demon note inheritance was in Demon Note Mountain. Luo Feng naturally suspected there was another inheritance left in the Ice Mountain. One had to know that the universe was vast and mysterious, producing trillions of races. Humanity was but one of them. Naturally, there would be some other great beings from other races. There would be the strong and also the weak. The strong were comparable to humanity's strongest. They are too powerful. They were able to create an entire race, Flame God race. So it was created by that great being. Luo Feng was extremely shocked. Earth was used as a nurturing ground to nurture other races. Only later on it was taken over by humanity. Hence, that being had to leave. Unbelievable. Thunder God stared and said. There are many unbelievable things. Hong smiled. Even though humans are a pinnacle race, there are many others in the vast universe, who are even stronger and more powerful, along with countless other middle and weak races. Maybe if they are alone, they are weaker than humans, however with the trillions of races added together, who knows how many absolute beings there are. Luo Feng nodded. There were many superpowers around, like the Beast God in Blood River World, like the founder of Demon Mountain, the creator of the Flame God race, and other pinnacle beings such as the creator of the 52 Primal Chaos tablets in Primal Chaos City. Those beings couldn't be too far off. Luo Feng and Thunder God were obviously still reeling from the shock. This great being had used countless amounts of energy to remodel Earth. How much do you think Earth is worth? Limitless. Thunder God said. At least more than a universe country. Luo Feng nodded too. As a member of one of the pinnacle beings of the universe, the remodeled Earth naturally was a true treasure. With Earth as the center of remodeling, the surrounding 1,000 light-years and countless planets have been remodeled slightly too. The entire remodeling had Earth as its core. Hong said, hence, Earth has to remain in this specific solar system, it cannot be moved away. The moment it's moved, it will lose its special attributes. The remodeled Earth is very special. Even if it's damaged and left with remains, as time flows, it will naturally reform itself. Hong laughed. The founder of the Huge Axe Dojo also discovered over the long passages of time, that after the great being left, Earth has been almost destroyed 12 times. Yet, time and again it reformed itself. Luo Feng and Thunder God could only listen. Even though mental state was important, it was as intangible as anything else. To become strong, there were a few requirements such as talent, willpower and resources. Resource referred to training techniques, teachers and other treasures to get strong. If one didn't have training techniques, just like Earth during the Great Nirvana period, even the sacred people of the time wouldn't be able to last. The past Earth lacked just that. Talent. One without talent may become strong, but it was hard for them to become an absolute warrior. Others train for a day while that person may take 10 years, how could they compare? Willpower. Even with talent and resources, if one didn't have willpower, unable to take the solitude, they wouldn't make it far. Becoming an absolute power required extreme willpower. The three of them were all important. People with strong mental states naturally had strong willpower. And sufficient patience. Strong mental state, it could also be used to defend against illusions etc. Hence to the entire humanity, placing a few strong bloodlines on Earth to be influenced by it, when their children were born, they only needed to train and teach it well for their mental states to easily rise. The moment that happened, including the bloodline and talent, with large amount of resources, the number of absolute warriors would greatly rise. Mental state is but an assistant to becoming an absolute warrior. Hong said. My appearance has shocked the upper echelon of the huge axe dojo, but Earth's appearance was what truly gave them a surprise. After all, when one reaches the level of Void Gold Master, or the founder of the huge axe dojo, they all had absurd levels of power. They could all create their own race, while others may not be able to do so. Naturally, they realized the importance of Earth. Luo Feng sighed. Everything was clear now. Earth's background, it involved a great being. I'm the leader of Earth, with such a treasure, I will face a lot of trouble next time. Luo Feng thought. Who cares? I'll let the virtual universe company deal with the huge axe dojo. After knowing Earth's secret, Luo Feng was clear that Earth was a nurturing basket for which a great being had spent countless amounts of energy in remodeling. Its worth was immeasurable and wasn't something he could control alone. It was like a treasure wanted by two gods, however a child had gotten it instead. It wasn't a windfall, but instead a disaster. The gods wouldn't care about the child's death. To the huge axe dojo and virtual universe company, Luo Feng wasn't even an ant. Just wait. Luo Feng thought so. However, the virtual universe company and the huge axe dojo's upper echelon were moving very swiftly, just 3 hours after Luo Feng's conversation with his brothers. Virtual universe, Yuseong Mountain Primal Region. Luo Feng's villa welcomed 2 guests. Luo Feng. A clear voice resounded within his villa, and within everyone's ears. Luo Feng quickly flew out and landed in the yard. Luo Feng looked up and got a shock. 9-Blade Knight. 2 silhouettes were chatting and walking over. One of them was the green armored man with purple scales on his head, 9-Blade Knight. Beside him was a lady in ancient red armor. She wore a veil on her face, revealing only her jade green eyes. They walked in mid-air and instantly landed in the villa. This lady is walking beside 9-Blade Knight, she must be a knight too. Luo Feng thought. Greetings, knight. Luo Feng bowed respectfully. 9-Blade Knight and the jade-eyed lady glanced at Luo Feng. The lady smiled and said, this must be Luo Feng. His luck is really good, to actually own a territory with such a special place like Earth. Ha ha. 9-Blade laughed too, his gaze landing on Luo Feng. Luo Feng, let's talk in the living room. Yes, knight. Luo Feng respectfully led the 2 knights into the living room. The doors closed behind them. Even though his living room was far from a god shrine, it was still very spacious. 9-Blade Knight and the lady sat casually about, while Luo Feng stood beside them. No need to be nervous. The lady's voice was like a 100 bird calls. It made one feel comfortable. I represent the Virtual Universe Company, and I'm here to discuss matters about Earth. It's here. Luo Feng thought. He didn't dare speak as he thought, as he was very clear about the fact that he was just a piece of meat and the Virtual Universe Company was the knife. The Ganwu Universe Country is within the control of our Virtual Universe Company. The entire Universe Country belongs to the company. Technically, as long as the company orders it, we can take away your rights to Earth," the lady said indifferently. Luo Feng listened obediently. However, the company has decided to act according to the rules. She flipped her hand and a file appeared. "Take a look, these are the deals the company has arranged for you regarding Earth. There are 2 transactions, it's up to you to choose." "Yes." Luo Feng received it respectfully. He exclaimed within. For the virtual universe company to come up with these transactions, it represented them giving him 2 choices. However, about the underlying message, he was clear about what they meant. He only had 2 choices, nothing else. This was tyranny. However, everybody would understand that this was natural. It was something done by one of the 2 great leviathans of humanity. Naturally, this was how it was going to be. And they even gave Luo Feng 2 choices. This was already kindness on their part. "There are 2 files, but the first has more benefits for you. Pick whichever you want," the lady said. Luo Feng looked at the files. The contents weren't complex at all, it was mainly explaining the 2 deals. The first was Luo Feng selling Earth to the virtual universe company. Everything in regards to Earth from then on would be handled by the company. Of course, with regards to the promise Luo Feng had given, about giving Undying Night an island, the company would handle that. By selling Earth, Luo Feng would get 200 billion mixed elements. Even though the number was huge, any knight would be able to easily fork it out. Compared to the worth of Earth, 200 billion was extremely little. However, for the company to be willing to give Luo Feng this much, it was already not bad. For the sake of his safety, however, they wouldn't give it all at once to him. As the huge wealth would make many Undyings go mad, there would be those willing to take risks to deal with Luo Feng and steal his wealth. Hence, the file stated the following. At Domain Lord level, Luo Feng would get 20 million mixed elements. At Sector Lord level, Luo Feng would get 200 million mixed elements. At Undying level, Luo Feng would get the remaining 199.78 billion mixed elements. The first deal concluded that way. This was all in consideration for Luo Feng. 200 million mixed elements may not be much for a Primal Region Sector Lord member, but it was still okay. The second deal considered the fact that Luo Feng maintained his position of Earth being his home even against the huge Axe Dojo, unwilling to sell it. Hence it came up with a plan. The details were, the humans of Earth could remain there. However, the entire Earth's surface area was close to 1.500 million kilometer. Its sea surface area was 3.600 million kilometer. Its sea surface area was much bigger. With the humans living on land, all of the air above the sea would belong to the virtual universe company, and the company would build a floating city etc. over it. Also it promised that there would be nothing over the land areas. It was obvious the company was giving way to Luo Feng in this, allowing the humans of Earth to remain on Earth, and only building floating cities over the sea areas. With the promise that it wouldn't disrupt the lives of the humans of Earth, also, giving large amount of resources to nurture the people of Earth. This deal had much lower benefits. Luo Feng could at most receive 50 billion mixed elements. This was only 1/4 of the first option. These were how he would be paid. At Domain Lord level, he would get 5 million mixed elements. At Sector Lord level, he would get 50 million mixed elements. At Undying level, he would get the remaining 49.95 billion mixed elements. There was silence in the living room. Nine-Blade Knight and the lady waited patiently. Luo Feng looked at the files and finally looked up. "Have you finished?" the lady asked Luo Feng. Luo Feng nodded. The 2 deals may seem like he was being bullied, with the first giving 200 billion mixed elements, and the second only giving 50 billion. Also, the payments were divided into 3 payouts. Luo Feng, however, was very clear. His right of Earth was something the virtual universe company could easily take from him, without leaving him a single cent. Even the deal Yang Zhu Emperor had tried to deal with him before had the highest price of only 1 billion mixed elements. It was obvious that in the upper echelon's eyes, Luo Feng was a lucky punk. To actually give him these benefits was already an act of kindness from them. Their little action alone naturally was a huge amount. 2 deals. Especially the second one, Luo Feng was very satisfied with. At least the humans of Earth needn't change their lifestyles. The virtual universe company would at most build their floating cities above the sea regions and promised not to disrupt the Earth humans' lives. Without any other circumstance, this was already a good deal. Which will you pick? The lady looked at Luo Feng. You have to pick one. The second. Luo Feng said. The second. Both knights revealed a look of shock as they exchanged glances. She laughed, her voice resounding in his ears. You must think carefully. The first is a reward of 200 billion, but the second only gives 50 billion, the difference is 150 billion mixed elements. Even a knight would feel the pinch from such an amount. Can you give it up? If your comrades leave Earth, can't they still lead their lives? Do you want to change your choice? The lady looked at Luo Feng. Luo Feng shook his head and said softly, It's my home, I have no other choice. I cannot let my countless comrades leave their homes. The lady and Nine-Blade Knight both had a sense of appreciation within their eyes. There were many powerful warriors in the universe. Over the long dangerous journeys, they would risk everything for treasures. 150 billion was such a treasure, and was able to buy many items and important treasures, and it was enough to make countless undyings go crazy for it. For home, he was willing to give it up. Many warriors would respect Luo Feng's choice. Respect was respect, however there would still be many that would simply pick the first choice. After all, only few recognized the importance of home that much. This is the contract. With the acknowledgement of the virtual universe system, signing this contract means it's settled. The lady flipped her hand and another folder appeared. It was the contract. The lady first signed and passed it along to Luo Feng. Luo Feng signed his name as well. Within the living room, Luo Feng sat alone. Nine-Blade Knight and the jade-eyed lady had already left. Luo Feng. Barbata shouted happily. The Universe Galaxy Bank has sent a mail. Your total has increased by 5 million mixed elements. The first amount from the agreement has already been deposited. That was fast. Ah. Luo Feng sat in his sofa. Leaning back, he lifted a cup of amber-colored wine. Why? Barbata asked curiously on Luo Feng's shoulder. He felt that Luo Feng was somewhat fatigued. Nothing. Luo Feng said softly, I feel weak. Weak? Barbata blinked. Against the huge Axe Dojo and Virtual Universe Company, even against Zhihua Knight, Nine-Blade Knight and Yangzhou Emperor, I have no way to withstand them at all. Luo Feng said softly, after which he downed the amber-colored wine. Being weak is not wrong, accepting and letting yourself stay weak is the problem. Barbata shouted. Even the great founder of the huge Axe Dojo, or the founder of the Virtual Universe Company, those pinnacle beings, which one of them didn't start from a weak little thing, only slowly growing until they could stand at the pinnacle of trillions of races. Luo Feng's eyes gleamed with anticipation. That burning passion was enough to melt a glacier. Only through growth and my own strength would I be able to truly get strong. Barbata, you are right. I need to keep on moving one step at a time, until I become an absolute being. After the contract was signed, things were naturally carried out according to the contract. The huge Axe Dojo wouldn't dare come find Luo Feng again. Also, the Virtual Universe Company's efficiency was extremely high, as it immediately sent large amounts of people via God Country teleportation to Earth, and began to build their floating city. They also started building a shrine in the outer regions of the solar system. Its size was almost comparable to the sun. In this shrine, absolute beings were stationed. After all, Earth was simply too important. The Virtual Universe Company did promise not to disrupt the lives of the people. Luo Feng saw everything happen himself. Luo Feng, who had been patiently staying on Earth, was also waiting for the results of the highest point mission. After all, he massacred at an extreme level during the first level's Flame God Organization mission. As for the completion rate, he didn't know the results yet. 5 days later. Luo Feng, mail. Barbata's voice resounded in his mind. Luo Feng, who was in the yard sipping tea, with his brother Luo Hua, sent a thread of consciousness into the virtual universe network. Virtual universe Yuxiong Mountain Primal Region, Luo Feng's villa. Within his study. The moment he sat down, Barbata, who was on his shoulder, said with a glee, "It's from the Virtual Universe Company, and the subject is related to the highest point mission." Luo Feng gently tapped the screen and opened the mail. The details were: "You've already completed the first level of the highest point mission. The members have judged that your final completion rate is 82%, hence you will get 82,000 points. This also means that you have the right to move on to the second level. Evaluation. The mission was for you, Luo Feng, to judge the 18 executives of the Flame Wind organization. It didn't ask for you to judge their guards along with their corrupted guests and clients. You, however, massacred everybody, killing over 1 million of them. Obviously, you are bloodthirsty by nature, and you even used claws and close combat, not even feeling any disdain from killing over 1 million of them. Also, your gaze hardly even changed. You enjoy killing from within, you love the thrill from close combat. This is a bit dangerous. Humans are innately not a bloodthirsty race, even though the population is extremely huge. There are very few with bloodthirst in their bones. Even the races in the universe that are bloodthirsty, they are extremely few. However, when you kill, you are cold and collected. As to who to kill and who not to, you are distinct. To kill over 1 million and not let the blood affect you, still clearly making distinct decisions on who to kill and who to spare, it's obvious you are not controlled by the bloodthirst. It hasn't affected your core. In summary, despite your bloodthirsty nature, we still gave you 82% completion." Luo Feng immediately laughed when he saw the mail. 82% completion. That was risky. He almost ended the highest point mission immediately. The evaluation did make sense. Right? The mission had told him to judge the 18 executives, yet he killed everybody within the organization, and even the corrupted clients and their underlings. According to the evaluation, they let me pass, because they could see I was calm and collected, and was not affected by the massacre. Luo Feng laughed. Even though it made sense, however, if they had let him do the mission again, the result would still be the same. Luo Feng would never change the way he did things, just from some evaluation. That scums, they were the vermin of humanity. They were completely corrupt. If he didn't see it, it would be fine. But since he saw everything and knew the truth, he naturally had to kill them. I'll just do things my way, who cares how many points I get? Luo Feng thought. I don't wish to change the way I do things, because of their words. A new mail appeared on the screen. Barbata shouted out, "It's the second level." Luo Feng smiled and opened the mail. The subject read, "Highest point mission second level." Details. This mission is the second level of the highest point mission. Mission background. In the Jiyulun Universe Country region, there's a powerful Emperor-level Undying Blood Demon Emperor. He is a lone wolf and antisocial in nature. He's also not a member of the 5 Leviathans. Within the Universe Country he controls the Dutuor star field. That is his sole territory, and it's completely under his control. As he is an important member of the Hong Alliance, he has absolute control over this area, and the Jiyulun Universe Country itself has no power over it. Luo Feng was interested in the word's background. Hong Alliance. Hong Alliance. Luo Feng frowned and muttered, and it says that Blood Demon Emperor is a lone wolf, antisocial in nature. Yet he is an important member of the Hong Alliance. It's simple, it shows that the alliance is a lax one, and that it doesn't have many requirements from its members. Only a lax alliance would let lone wolf members join. Barbata exclaimed on his shoulder. However, the requirements to join this alliance must be a harsh one. After following your teacher for so many years, we've never even heard of it. This shows that he didn't have the rights to even join them. Luo Feng nodded. He recalled back then in Demon Note Mountain in the Demon Note Inheritance Palace. There were 2 Undyings that spoke when they reached the core. Luo Feng clearly remembered their conversation. Ah, how come there are only 8 palaces without people, the rest are all filled? HM. That's weird, the report from Hong Alliance stated that there were 9 empty. Who cares, we are just 2 people. Whether it's 8 or 9, we have our spaces. The simple conversation between the 2 undyings back then was enough to perk Luo Feng's curiosity. The demon note inheritance was obviously very valuable. After chatting with his teacher Tru Yang, it also showed him that he had taken the slot of Drizzle Mist Emperor. A slot so valuable even to an Emperor-level undying, yet it was decided by the Virtual Universe Company, or Huge Axe Dojo. It was from a Hong Alliance he had never heard of. Luo Feng had a feeling. The Hong Alliance's influence must be huge. It is indeed powerful. A lone wolf, just because he's an important member of the Alliance, he controls a star field and can operate it independent of the universe country. It's his own country. Luo Feng exclaimed. Even though there were countries like the Black Dragon Mountain Empire etc., within the Ganwu Universe country along with other undying lands, the Ganwu Universe country still had control over them. He was shocked by this mysterious Hong Alliance. He quickly connected to the virtual network and started searching for it, gently tapping the screen. Search complete. It was completely blank. Damn, my authority is already really high, yet I cannot find anything about them. Just how high in power are they? Where are they from? Luo Feng thought, immediately searching up on Blood Demon Emperor. One piece of information popped up. Luo Feng opened it to read. Blood Demon Emperor, name Dutuor, he is arrogant and has incredible strength and power. He was extremely powerful even amongst the Emperor-level undyings. He's been stationed for a long time in Dutuor Starfield, and has 36 undyings under him. He's a big independent power from the Jiu Lun Universe country. This information didn't mention the Hong Alliance, however it mentioned his undying underlings etc. Luo Feng sat at his desk and pondered about the information regarding Blood Demon Emperor and the Hong Alliance. Even though it was little, he could only deduce that this arrogant Blood Demon Emperor, being a part of the Hong Alliance, only showed that the alliance was extremely powerful. Even the slots for the demon note inheritance were decided by them. Luo Feng shook his head and continued reading the mission details. Mission details. Within the Dutuor starfield that Blood Demon Emperor controls, there's a very brutal test called the Blood Demon Trials. This has later been called the Blood Demon Hell by the people of the Dutuor starfield. This trial would be organized over tens of thousands of galaxies in the star field, however the period of time over which it stretched was very long. However in a month, the Meng Ya Galaxy and the Wei Li Galaxy will begin its trials simultaneously. The Meng Ya Galaxy will hold a high-level demon trial. The trial details state that capturing and placing 1 million star-level humans onto a mineral planet, making them fight it out and slaughter until only 10 are left. Only then will the trial stop. The remaining 10 will be absorbed into Blood Demon Planet. The Wei Li Galaxy will hold a low-level Blood Demon Trail. The trial details states that capturing 10 billion Star Traveler-level humans, fighting until only 100 are left. The final 100 will be absorbed into Blood Demon Planet. The death rate is too high. 10 billion being reduced to 100, 1 million star levels down to 10. This high death rate has made the people of the star field incredibly terrified of the trials. However, the entire star field is suppressed by the government, as they've gotten rid of any advanced technology. Many planets don't even have universe ships, or even basic technological tools. Dutuor Starfield is a huge cage. However, Blood Demon Emperor, outside of the trials, has been very kind towards his countless life planets. As he doesn't kill too much, and has never breached the limit, we cannot punish him. Mission request. Both trials will be held simultaneously in Meng Ya and Wei Li Galaxy. As they are separated, Luo Feng, even with your undying God's God country teleportation, you'll only be able to save one galaxy. Your mission is: stop the Blood Demon Trail, and save the members by keeping them in a world ring. As for which galaxy to save, it's your choice. Please remember that the moment the mission begins, your synchronized broadcast will be turned on. All details of the mission will be sent to the virtual universe. The billions of lives are in your hands. Luo Feng, you decide. If your final completion rate reaches 80%, you can move on to the third level. If it's below 80%, the highest point mission ends. The details weren't long. Luo Feng's expression however changed as he read. 2 blood demon trials were going on simultaneously, but he could only pick one to save. Which would it be? This video will end here.